What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and this video is going to be UI challenge guys, a minimal design. We'll be trying to recreate this entire currency converter application that was done by Oleg Frolov. This is actually an application that's available right now on the App Store guys. You can download it and try to use it, but in this video we'll be going we'll be trying to recreate this entire design using Flutter, and we'll be testing this on an Android device. Okay, so this is a minimal design, right? It has a set of screens and a currency here, and if you notice, the United States dollars is fixed. This United States dollar is fixed, whereas the other currency is the one that's changing, right? Here he is changing it to Bitcoin, and then this United States dollar is as usual fixed, but you can change the values on both the ends of this particular design. On one end of the particular design, whenever you try to change the value, a white color input screen appears on which you can type in red, and the other one, a red color input screen appears on which the typed characters appear in white color, right? So in short, the designer has made a wonderful blend of red and white. He has just used red and white to create a minimal looking clean design, which can be used as a currency converter, and it's, as I said, it's available in App Store, sorry. So he has given the shades of the color that he has used here as well. Let's go ahead and try to recreate this design now. As usual, sorry, this is my recorder. As usual, I have a blank application that is scaffolded out just now. First, I'll go ahead and try to create a page, the dashboard page that will display the two currencies. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll create another file and I'll call this dashboard. Dashboard dot. Okay. And inside this, I'll create a stateful widget. Dashboard page. And for this, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and import material, and here I'll add a couple of final fields that I'll be passing on to whenever I call this dashboard page. So final currency value and final converted currency and final currency 1, final currency 2, and final is white. You will see where we are using all these values as in when we type the code. I'll create a constructor for this so that I can get these values. This dot currency value, taking in these values as well. Let's go ahead and use this as our body. So here what I'll do is I'll go ahead and dashboard page currency. Let me just import this so that I can get my autocomplete to work for that. That is the intelligence to work for that. Currency value will give it as 0.0, converted currency once again 0.0, and currency 1 would be USD, currency 2 would be Russian ruble, maybe RUB, and what was the final one I had is white will be. Now let's run this app and see. No, we need not even run this app since we have nothing here, right? Let's go ahead and design the dashboard first and then run the app. So here what I'll do is I'll return a material. And child for this would be a stack, and inside this stack I'll be having a couple of children widget, container, exactly on top of this container, but that container's height will be half of this container, so that we can get the half. You saw this, right? Wait, let me, yeah, you saw this, right? This is half and this is half. So for that I'll place another container or exactly on top of this. So I'll, okay, and but the only difference would be this will be just half, and obviously the color would be a different color. I just got it. Wait, let me just, okay, save this. Now let's run this app on a device and see how this looks. Okay, all right, let's see how this looks on our device now. It's just loading up. Fine, now we have that excellent half and half, right? Just like we have on this design spec. The next thing we need to do is we'll place another container on top of these two containers, but that container will have the content, the information. Okay, so after this I'll place another container, and inside this container we'll have a child center, and we'll have another child column, and we'll have children widget sized box, some 30. I'll give it as 30, and after that I'll go ahead and add an equal on tab child. On tab I'll write later. Okay, child, for this equal it will be a text. This text will be nothing but currency. I'll have a service. Since we are passing it as USD and RUB, we need to have a function that will return us the full versions of the text, right? I'll have a service file. This service file will provide me with a function class currency service, sorry guys, service get currency string currency, sorry, once again currency, and if currency equals USD, return United States dollar. Russian ruble. Fine, we'll just start off with these two currencies, and then later on we'll add more. Okay, currency service. Now I can use this, right? Currency service dot get currency string. Here just pass the currency 1 and 2 that you get here. Okay, while calling. So how will you use that here? The one way of using that here is to declare these final variables inside the state as well, and then pass these final variables whenever you are creating that state. The other way of doing it is using the tree directly, which is what we'll be doing now. So here what I'll do is, instead of this, I can simply do widget dot currency 1. Fine, and once we get this, I'll give it a style. Let's save this. Let's see how this looks on the device. United States dollar. It's looking really good, right? Oh, here United States dollar is at the bottom. Anyway, we'll in our app we'll have it at the top. Okay, there's nothing no different about that, no difference in that, right? We'll have this currency to be converted here and United States dollar at the top. Okay, so now that we have a title on the top, next we'll start with the currency values, actual currency values. So in order to do that, I'll have a small sized box here, sized box height will be some 20.0, and after this I'll have another inkwell, but this inkwell will be having the, I'll just copy and paste this. There will be a couple of differences. The first difference is this will have a huge font size, some 120 maybe. Okay, the second difference is this is not currency one, this is currency val. Currency val dot to string. Fine, save this. Let's see how this looks. It should show 0.0 in a bigger font size, obviously. Okay, it's showing null. Probably the reason is we didn't pass anything. Oh, sorry guys, what am I doing? Why am I passing this? Fine, save this. Sorry guys, I copy and pasted that, right? Yeah, it's now showing 0.0 in a bigger font size, right? The next thing in the design spec is a small 3-letter representation of the currency, and then a huge round circle that shows which direction it's being converted to, right? So for that, what I'll do is, after this inkwell, I'll have a text that says widget dot currency 1. You can see that we now have this small 3-letter small 3-letter representation of that currency here below the currency value, right? The next thing we need is the round circular button in the center, right? So what we'll do for that is we'll go ahead and try to do that. After this, I'll have like a sized box height will be some 25.0. okay, and after this I'll have a container. The container will be of height 125.0 and width 125.0 and decoration, box decoration, and inside this what I'll have is border radius, obviously border radius dot circular 62.5, colors dot white, border dot all. If you just give it like this, wait, I'll show you rather than me trying to explain. Just watch how this looks on the mobile device. You get this, right? It just looks like the circle is being I mean, there is a semicircular cut off in the red color part of the container, but we don't have that perfect circle like we have in the design spec, right? We need a circle, right? So for that, what we'll do is we'll have a border for that. Border dot all. Inside this I'll have a color, style, border style dot solid, and width, I'll give it a good width so that it looks prominent, 5.0. okay, so now we have a red color border surrounding that particular circle as well. If you just now save this and look at this, it will look more like a, see, now you can see that with the border it looks like it's the circle cuts into the white section of that particular screen, right? Now let's go ahead and add the arrow in the middle of the circle as well. So after this box decoration, what I'll do is I'll have a child. No, I mean I'll include a child. Center child widget. Sorry, widget dot is white. Icon just have a look. Since we already gave is white as false, it should be pointing downward, right? Yeah, we now have a arrow that's pointing downward. So now our design starts to look more and more like the design spec that we have here. Now we need content below the arrow exactly the same way that we may created the content above the arrow as well, right? So what I'll do is I'll just cut the video here and then resume recording after I have added that particular content as well. And then we'll see how to navigate to a different page to do the text in, currency input, as well as convert that currency input to a required values. Okay. Alright guys, now let's just check it up. Okay, now I have exactly done the same as I did for the above section. The only difference is the color. Okay, color of the text, the color of the value, and the color of the currency printed beneath it. So now what we'll do is, if you notice carefully, just watch this once again. Whenever he I'll show you. Whenever he taps here, then a red color input appears and the text is in white color. Whenever he taps here, white color screen appears and the text is in red color, right? So let's just start with the bottom part. Okay, so whenever we tap on the white section containing the red text, then we should get a white screen that has some red color input buttons, as well as the printed text would also be red in color, right? And we have a small tab to delete on the top as well. If you notice here, that I presume will obviously delete the printed values and reset the counter value back to 0. So yeah, let's go ahead and add all those functionality here. So for that, what I'll do is I'll create a screen called white input, white input dot. Okay, and inside this, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a stateful widget, input white page. Fine. Now I can simply import this material, import this, and here instead of returning a container, I'll go ahead and wait. First I'll receive some values here. Okay, so what are the values that I'll receive? Final original currency and final converted currency. So I'll just have converted currency. Okay, these two values I'll be receiving, and I'll have a constructor for this input white page, this dot original currency, this dot converted currency. Fine. Save this, and here instead of returning, first I'll have a value where current input equals 0. Fine. And here inside the build function, I'll return a scaffold. What happened? Return a scaffold, and for the scaffold I'll have a body column. Fine. Inside this I'll go ahead and do children widget, sized box, height would be some 25.0, and ink well, once again this will be on tap. This is the tap to delete thing that I'm writing now, guys. Okay, so once you tap this, it should set the current input back to 0. That's exactly what we are doing. So set state current input equals 0. Fine. Now what we need to do is we need to have a child for this, right? So this equal child text tap to delete, and I'll have a style for this as well. Fine. Now let's just save this and see how this looks on the mobile. No, this won't look on the mobile device since we haven't called this page from the dashboard page, right? So let's go ahead and write code to call this page from the dashboard page. All we need to do is write a navigator dot of context code, guys. Wait, let me finish that off. From this you just write that navigator dot of context dot push replacement material page route, and inside this, inside this I can simply use a builder function context obviously, and input white page I'll import this page so that I can use the what was the two fields, original currency, right? Original currency widget dot currency one and converted currency widget dot currency 2. Fine. Now we have on tapping upon this we should be taken to the input white page. Let's just tap on this and see if that happens. Cool. Now we are taken to the input white page where we have a tap to delete on the top, just like we gave it here. So the next thing we need to do is we need to have a large container that will, wait, I'll show you. After this equal, I'll add some space, sized box that will be having height will be some 10.0, and beneath that I'll have a center. The center widget will take in a child text, and this text will be the current input dot to string, and I'll have a style as well for this, wherein I'll give in a large input size probably. Okay, fine. Now we have the text that is to be displayed, just like we have here the text that is to be displayed here. Okay, and I gave the red color for that as well, a shade of red color for that as well. The next thing we need to do is create these button bars, right? The rows of buttons. So for that, what I'll do is I'll have a function that will return the rows of buttons. So after this text, after the center, I'll go ahead and do sized box. Size box height would be some 25, maybe 25.0, and number row I'll pass in the numbers that I want, 2 and 3. Fine, and I'll do this 3 more times. Now what we need to do is we need to create a function called number row and try to recreate those buttons, right? So widget number row, and inside this I'll do number 1, number 2, number 3. Fine. Let's open this up and return row main axis alignment. I'll use space evenly so that it looks main axis alignment, main axis alignment dot space evenly. Fine. Then we'll do children ink well on tap we need to calculate the number, right? So what I'll do is I'll use calculate number 1 and I'll close this off. Fine. Then what we need to do is we need to have a container that is circular in shape. You need to have, wait, I'll show you. You can see this, right? We need to have a circular shaped container and we have the text in the center of that particular container, right? And that container has a small red color shade as well. So let's go ahead and create a container exactly like that. So for this inkwell, after this I'll have a child. This child will be a container and container height would be some 80.0, width would be some 80.0 and decoration would be box decoration, border radius dot circular 40.0, color I have the color code here, so I'll just make use of that. Child center, child text, number 1 dot to string. I'll have a style for this. Fine. Now all we need to do is write another function called calculate number that will calculate the place of this number, and we'll have a couple more inkwells, similar inkwells that will do the same for number 2 and number 3. Okay, right. Now that I think of it, probably we should have returned this entire inkwell from another function and we could have simply called that function multiple times to create. Anyway, you try that on your own, guys. The thing is, return this entire inkwell from another function and then simply pass the these 3 numbers to that particular function to get this design of the container. In that way you would be writing very less code, right? You get it, right? You just need to write this code only once. Now I have written it thrice, right? So you can minimize your code size, the number of lines of code. Now I'll go ahead and write the calculate number. So after this function I'll go ahead and write calculate number and if current input equals 0, set state current input equals number. Fine. Current input equals number. If that is not the case, then else set state current input equals current input multiplied by 10 plus the number, right? So why am I doing this calculation? If the user presses 4 and the user presses 5, then the number is 45, right? It's not just 4 and 5. So I need to multiply the 4 by 10 and add that number 5, so it's 45. If the user presses 4, 5 and 6, then I should be doing, it's 456. So 4 into 10, 40 plus 5, 45 the second time. When he presses 6, then 45 into 10, 450 plus 10, 6, 456. So to get the the correct number, I am just using a function that multiplies the existing input by 10 and then adds the newly entered number along with that, so that it this is simple concept, guys, that you would have probably studied in school, right? So yeah, we have something for that as well. Now that we have this and we have called this, let's just save this and see how this looks on our mobile device, so that you guys get an idea of what we were trying to do so far. Cool. Now you can see that we have a plain screen with a beautiful looking number set, right? Let's just try to tap a couple of digits on the number pad here. I'm just tapping on 5, 6, 56, 9, 5, 6, 9. You can see this, right? Now if I tap to delete, it's becoming 0 automatically, right? So we have this nice looking input screen. The only thing that's pending in this is the final row. We have a final row with a decimal point, a 0 and a tick mark. That the tick mark probably signifies to calculate and to trigger the computation and return the result. So for creating the final row, let's have a separate function called maybe final row. So after this, I'll have another sized box and I'll have final row. Fine, we'll just save this. No, we need the function, right? So final row will be exactly similar to this, except that it won't accept any numbers other than 0. And the last button will be a button with a check mark that will trigger the computation. So what I'll do is, after this number row, I'll go ahead and use the final row. So after this number row, I'll go ahead and it's going to be exactly the same. I have just done very few simple alterations. As you can see here, as of now, I haven't done any computation for the dot, the decimal point. If you want, I'll do that in a future video, or you guys can try it yourselves and make this work. And the middle one will be 0, right? It's going to be fixed, it's not going to change. So middle one I'm including in the calculate number and including in the original digit. That's what I'm trying to say here. And the rightmost one is the check mark. Let's just save this. The check mark is the one that's going to trigger the entire computation, and see how this looks on our device. Now we have all the buttons in the numpad that we need for this particular computation, right? To get an input from the user as well as to trigger the computation. Now once the computation is done, it should be taken back to the original screen, the dashboard screen, and the dashboard screen values should now reflect the input value of that user and the result of the computation, right? We need to do both of these. So what I'll do is, first I'll do a computation. I'll get back into my currency service. This is the currency service file, right? Get back here, and then here I'll do a convert currency, and I'll accept some value string from currency string to currency int amount context. Fine. Now from here, what I'll do is, if from currency equals US dollars, then I'll switch the two currency, switch to currency case ruble. Then I just need to I just need to navigate to the dashboard, right? Navigator dot off context dot push. Oh, navigator is not available here, right? We need some widget dot dart, I think. I'm not sure. I think it's widget dot dart. Yeah, it's widget dot dart. Push replacement. For the new route, I'll give material page route. Inside this builder Oh, material I didn't, sorry. Builder, this will be a function. Context, dashboard page, dashboard page, what were the values? Currency value, right? First one, currency value will be the amount that the user entered, and converted currency will be the why is this not triggering the IntelliSense? Probably I need to import this. Converted currency will be amount multiplied by 65 dot round to double, and currency one from currency 2 will be 2 currency, and is white will be false once again. Fine. Now once this conversion happens, I am simply passing these values to the dashboard page, which means that we'll be taken back to the dashboard page. Only this time we'll be having the user entered value as the United States dollars, and the no, it won't be the user enter. Wait, you'll see that on the screen, guys. Wait, I'll save this. Just watch what happens. I'll just type in 2, okay, and then I'll hit the trigger button. Nothing happens because I didn't trigger this entire thing. Currency service dot convert currency from currency would be widget dot convert currency, and this will be widget dot original currency, and this will be current input. And this will be context. Yeah, this will be context. We'll save this. Why is this showing an error? Probably because we missed a semicolon somewhere. Once this reloads, I just entered 2 Russian rubles. Let's just tap on the trigger button. Once again, nothing happens. We haven't yet written a function, code for converting ruble to USD, right? That's exactly what we are trying to do here. What we have written here is for converting USD to rubles. So I'll get back to currency services. Oh, we are in currency service. After this I'll do if from currency equals ruble. This will be exactly the same, except that I'll be dividing instead of. Wait, now you understood this, right? I am doing exactly same process. The only difference is the currency value here will be amount by 65, since I am converting rubles to USD dollars, US dollars, and US dollars is always fixed at the top. So currency value would be obviously amount by 65. Dot toString asterisk. This will truncate all the decimal digits and then leave just 2 digits. So that's the reason why I use this function. And then the rest of this is values, and isWhite I gave it as true, since the arrow should be. Wait, you will see that. I'll save this, let it reload. Now we have 2. I am just tapping on the compute button. Now you can see that 2 Russian rubles equals 0.03 US dollars, and the arrow is now pointing upwards, showing that a conversion has been made from Russian ruble to US dollars. Now I'll give 65. It's just 1 US dollar, right? It's around 65, I think. I am not sure. Yeah, 65.86. Fine. So yeah, now we have a nice working application that will convert Russian rubles to US dollars for us, and we have this entire system working perfectly as well. The next thing we'll do is we'll try to apply the same logic and then bring in a red input screen wherein upon tapping the United States dollars it should allow conversion vice versa as well, right? Now we can convert from Russian ruble to US dollar. Similarly, it should be able to convert from US dollars to Russian ruble as well, and we have the code for doing that here. Only we need the red colored input screen. So what I'll do, red input dot, and inside this I'll write the exact same code that I did in white input screen. The only difference here would be I'll show you the differences alone. Okay, I'll cut the video here and resume recording once I finish this screen. Okay, I have done the screen. The only difference here is, once again, wait. Here if you notice, the original currency is being passed first and the converted currency is being, the currency to be converted is passed next. This is one difference that we didn't have in the, wait, I'll show you. Here if you notice, the converted currency is passed first and the original currency is passed next, right? This is for the from and to value, guys. Wait, here it's from and to, right? So first we did from Russian ruble to US dollars. So that's the reason why I did, where is it? Why I did converted currency, original currency. This why I did like this, converted currency, original currency, why I did like this, since in dashboard we have given currency 1 is the original currency and currency 2 is the currency to be converted, and currency 1 is nothing but USD, currency 2 is nothing but ruble. So that's the reason why I gave it like this. Okay, so from currency will be ruble and to currency will be USD. Red input we need to give it as from currency should be USD and to currency should be ruble. That's the reason why I gave it like original currency here and converted currency. You get this, right? All right, now this is exactly the same. Like I said, only the colors would change obviously, and I told you what the other difference is as well. Let's save this, and now we need to, just like we called white input, we need to call red input from dashboard as well, right? So I'll just copy this entire thing. Now all I need to do is import this, save this. Let's see how this looks on our device now. You understood, right? I'm simply creating another page, guys. That's it. Now if I tap on this, I have a red input screen inside which I can input the values that I want. I'm just giving it as 2. It should be 130 rubles, right? 130 rubles, and the arrow is now pointing in the downward direction. Since I specified, sorry, where is it? Since I specified is white to be false, right? So the currency conversion happens from dollar to ruble, and if I do ruble to dollars, the arrow is pointing upward, denoting that the currency conversion is happening from Russian ruble to US dollars, right? So now we have a two-way currency conversion system, right? So, but if you notice, it's converting only from United States dollar to Russian ruble and Russian ruble to United States dollar, right? What if we need more currencies? Here, if you notice, wait, I'll show you. Here, if he taps on the currency name, for instance, here he taps on euro, another screen opens and he is able to choose currency from the list of currencies, right? But if you notice carefully, everything moves from the bottom, right? But if he taps on euro, that screen alone moves from left to right, right? So how are we going to perform this transition? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just have 4 currencies, guys. Let's just have 4 more currencies, and I'll also show how to do that left to right transition as well. So I'm getting back here, and then we'll create another file for currency list. So this file will be named currency list.dart, and inside this will once again be a stateful widget, and it will just display 4 currencies. That's it, nothing fancy in this. So stateful widget currency list, and we'll go ahead and fine. Inside this, what I'll do is I'll return a scaffold Return a scaffold. Did it have a back button? Yeah, there was a back button, right? Oh my god, I just missed it. Let's just wait for some time. If he taps on euro, yeah, there is a back button. So inside the scaffold, I'll do a background color first, and I have the color for that here. And inside this, I'll do an app bar background color. Use the same background color. Elevation, I'll give it as 0.0, and for the back arrow we just need to do leading icon button. Save this. Now we have a nice looking page. Now we need to move to this page from the left to right transition using a left to right transition. So I'll get back to dashboard . It's pretty much simple, guys. The left to right transition is native for Cupertino. Okay, that is the iOS thing. That's the native style. So all we need to do is make use of, instead of a material page root, what we need to do is, where is it? This is the currency one, right? So instead of a material page root, what I'll do is I'll give navigator. My IntelliSense, whenever I need it, it won't. Navigator dot off context dot push, and here just give Cupertino page route. You used to give material page route here, right? Same way, just use Cupertino page route, and obviously you need to import Flutter / and Cupertino.dart. Fine. Now what you can do is, inside this is the exact same process. Just use a builder function, context, and use the arrow operator, currency list. Sorry, currency list, I used a capital letter, I think. Currency list. Fine. Now just import this once again. Save this. Let's just try tapping on United States dollar now. Technically it should take us to that particular screen. Cool, right? Now you can see that it moves from left to right. Instead of here, if you notice, if I just tap on a digit, it's moving from bottom to top, right? It's moving from bottom to top. Whereas if I tap on a currency, it's moving from left to right, as you can see here. If you want to switch this function to the Russian ruble, all you need to do is take this on tap this inkwell on tap functionality and add it to Russian ruble. That's it. No other difference, guys. Probably I should have done that as well. Anyway, let's move on and go ahead and create a list of 4 currencies here, and upon tapping one of those currencies, it should do the currency pertaining conversion pertaining to that particular currency. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll get back to currency list, and here I'll after the app bar I'll have a body list view, and list view, and children get list item Russian ruble RUB. We'll have for 3 more currencies, and then now we have 4 currencies, right? Now all we need is a simple function that will return this list item for us. So widget get list, widget get list item. Inside this I can simply do string currency name string currency, and after this I can do I can simply return an inkwell, and that will just hold the name of that currency, right? Okay, you understood this, right? I'm simply showing that currency as a list item, and whenever the user taps on that particular list item, what I am doing is USD is going to be fixed, obviously. So USD, I just gave it as USD. For the currency 2, I am just adding the currency, which is nothing but this value. It's either going to be RUB, INR, JPY or GBP, right? Pound sterling. So these values will get displayed in a list, as you can see here, right? So now if I suppose I tap on Japanese yen, it should show JPY, but it's not showing JPY. The reason is wait, I'll show you. Here we need to inside the dashboard we need to do it in such a way that it accommodates this particular currency as well, right? So how are we going to do that? Let's get back to dashboard.dart. If you noticed, I guess dashboard.dart is fine. We'll go to currency service.dart, and here we don't have these return values, right? Let's go ahead and do for the fine. Now you can see that the return value is Japanese yen and it's showing JPY. If I choose a different currency, Indian rupee, it's showing Indian rupee INR, right? And if I choose pound sterling, it's showing pound sterling GBP, as you can see here. Now we just have the return values from here, the currency names from here. We just need to apply the same logic for converting these currencies as well, right? So I'll write the other 3 cases for currency conversion here. Okay, now as you can see here, I have added the other. I simply hard coded the calculation value here, guys. If I were writing a real app, I'd probably use an API to check the real-time value conversion rate and then calculate it accordingly. For now, I'm simply this is just a basic demonstration, right? So I'm simply hard coding the conversion value, the computation value. Similarly, I have written for Indian rupee, Japanese and pound sterling, so that vice versa is also currency conversion, vice versa is also possible. Let's try to save this so that it gets hot reloaded, and then we can see if the currency conversion happens successfully as well. Fine. Now if I want to convert from United States dollar to pound sterling, yeah, it's showing accurately, right? Pound sterling is $2.58. So if it's 6, then it's 7.74 USD, right? So if United States dollar, I'm giving it as 20, then it's 16 pound sterling, right? So the currency conversion happens successfully. Similarly, I'll do Indian rupee. Indian rupee, if it's 100 rupees, it should be some 1.40 US dollars. If I give it US dollar is some $2, it should be 141 rupees, right? At the current conversion rate that I specified here. Similarly, we can do for Japanese yen as well. One US dollars is around 110 Japanese yen. As you can see here, 1 Japanese yen is around, you can see this, right? It works perfectly. If you convert from this, then the arrow points in the upward direction. If you convert from this, then the arrow points in the downward direction. If you tap on the currency, you get a list of currencies from which you can choose your conversion currency, right? As you can see here. So yeah, now we have recreated this exact currency converter that we have that is being shown here, right? So the decimal point calculation, as I said, I haven't done, guys. Probably you can try that out yourself and let me know if you are successful. Just drop a comment if you are successful. And so yeah, guys, this is what I wanted to show you guys today. I wanted to start out with small application like this, rebuilding small application like this, and then going forth we'll just travel in the path of app development, complete app development, wherein we'll start off with smaller apps. We'll be introducing Firebase as well to use as a data store in our apps. We haven't done any data store here, right? We're simply hard coding the entire conversion, and then we are just focusing on the design aspect of this application. Going forth, we'll be doing real applications that you can we'll be using Firebase Cloud Functions and Firebase as a data store as well, right? So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you guys today. If you really like this video, kindly, I know this video is a bit long, but if you really like this video, kindly hit the like button. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, kindly hit this subscribe button and click on the bell icon to receive notifications each and every time I upload a new video. If you like this, kindly hit the subscribe button, guys. It's free, right? Just hit the subscribe button and share this video with someone else. Tweet about this or something if you really found this helpful. And so yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.